got a situation on our hands right now. We got a Trump Vivek situation. Now, I'm just going to break down this whole situation from before Iowa to during Iowa to what this means for Trump and Vivek in their relationship. Now, I'm going to be showing you clips from Kayleigh McEnany. I believe I said that name right. Tucker Carlson. There's going to be some other segments of Vivek actually announcing that he's dropping out. Him and Trump together. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. Let me just take you on a ride right now. I am CoachColin.com. Discount code I am Coach Colin. All capital letters, all one word, one L in the name Colin. Let's get to the first. This is not even a clip, this first one. We're going to be just going back and forth, pages and clips. So Trump right away, for the first time ever, attacks Vivek. And I was surprised when this happened. I was like, oh no, the future dream team. It's over for the future dream team. He said he played it too cute. Now, the thing about that is, Trump didn't do that for no reason. A lot of people don't realize there's a little bit of a clip here. This is from a gentleman. Now, this is Trump actually going in on him, but I'm going to show you a clip from somebody who did a great little expose on Vivek and why not to trust him. Now, I'm not going to show that whole thing, but I will show you that guy's page so you can actually look it up if you want to. He calls that Obama 2.0. But let's just get into what Trump said. A vote for Vivek is a waste of a vote. I like Vivek, but he played it too cute with us. Caucus tonight. Vote for Donald J. Trump. Build up the numbers in November. We must take our very troubled nation, a nation in decline, back from crooked Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats and thugs who are destroying it. MAGA! That's how I imagine him actually saying it. Now, that's what he said on Truth Social. A lot of people thought that was just unprovoked and it was just Trump doing what he does. But there is a reason for that. And again, this is another article talking about the first time calling him deceitful. And he was a little bit deceitful. And the clip I'm about to show you, for me, this shows straight up deceit. And I don't know why he did it, but he did. Even the way he's talking in this clip sounds deceitful. Now, again, this is a little expose from a page. If you're on X, this guy's name is Chase. Chase X Official is his @ Vivek is a snake. Share this video far and wide. He does a whole little breakdown, but this first little part of it is what I want to show you. Let's go.
But, I've got commitments.
It's about this country. I know. It's about this country. You want to save Trump, you vote for me. I'm telling you that. You vote for Trump. You're sending him
a sledgehammer.
No, but you're sending him to his own demise. You're falling into the trap that not only a country's falling in, that he's falling. You want to save Trump, you vote for me. I need your support at the Iowa caucus.
That's a good argument. It's
not an argument, it's the truth. Do the right thing for him and for this country. That's what I'm asking you for.
I will consider.
Thank you.
That's the first time
For
I've
this
ever
country.
said that, by the way.
This has never been a Democratic or Republican idea.
These are not Democrat ideas or Republican ideas.
This is an American idea.
These are fundamentally American ideals.
Imagine they were driving.
Now, I let that run a little long, but you can see where this person's going with this whole thing. There's a whole bunch to Vivek. But again, that first little part where he's talking to this woman, it just seemed so deceitful. And that's what sparked Trump. Trump is very in tune to what's going on X and YouTube and all the social media platforms. He does not play around. So the second that he saw this, whoever showed it to him, he went off. And you know what? Honestly, in Trump fashion, for what Trump could have done, it was actually very light. Very light. Just saying a vote for him is a wasted vote. There's a lot more he could have said. He could have kept on with it. And he definitely didn't have to make amends the way I think he made amends. Now, we're going to hear from Tucker Carlson because that was before Iowa, right? And now this is after Iowa. Let's Tucker Carlson break it down for us really, really quick. Let's go.
Just a few years ago. We should try that sometime. Here's how it would work. Everyone would vote on the same day in person. You would show up and present an ID, just like you do at the airport or the liquor store. Then you'd mark your preferences on a piece of paper. You do it manually. There would be no electronic voting machines. There would be no drop boxes or absentee ballots. The poll workers would probably be people that you recognize from your own zip code. They'd be your neighbors. They would not be employees of Mark Zuckerberg from California. As for the names on the ballot, you would get to choose those yourself, as citizens do in a democracy. Judges wouldn't be allowed to tell you who you can vote for and who you can't vote for. You'd get to decide. And then once you voted, nobody could order a stop to the vote counting. That would be illegal. So you would know the results of the election in just a few hours, and you would feel pretty confident that they were pretty real. That's how we used to do it in this country. What would happen if we tried it again? Well, as it happens, the state of Iowa did that very thing last night. They had their caucuses. That's the first contest in the 2024 presidential cycle. It all felt very retro, very non-third world. But the results were interesting. Here they are. Donald Trump won 51% of the vote. Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida got 21%. Nikki Haley got 19%. In other words, Donald Trump won decisively. At this point, it's hard to see how he's not the Republican nominee, because he didn't just win last night. He triumphed overwhelmingly by a historic margin. Trump won the Iowa caucuses by about 30 points. That's more than double the previous record. That was set in 1988 by Bob Dole. So last night was not close. It was a shocking blowout. Trump did to Iowa what the Vikings once did to the Irish coast. Only smoldering huts remain. Chris Wallace looked like he was going to be sick. On the other channels, they cast about looking for an explanation for this unexpected calamity. Here was NBC News' quote, explanation.
This is a state that is overrepresented by white Christians that are going to participate in these caucuses, especially tonight. Earlier today, reached out to Robbie Jones from the Public Religion Research Institute, knowing that we were going to talk about Iowa. And this is a hyper-evangelical white state. I asked him, what do they get out of supporting Donald Trump? Because he keeps losing, he keeps delivering losses and losses and losses. And he said the following. They see themselves as the rightful inheritors of this country, and Trump has promised to give it back to them. All the things that we think about electability, about, what are people gaming out, or none of that matters when you believe that God has given you this country, that it is yours, and that everyone who is not a white conservative Christian is a fraudulent American.
Tucker's face says it all. I just wanted to play that really quick. So we know the results. Trump won by a landslide. Literally take Nikki, take Ron, put both of their numbers together, and they still aren't even close to what Trump did. It's actually, I believe I heard that it was record breaking, and no one has done those type of numbers since Bob Dole. I didn't know that, but yeah, it's a major triumph, and of course it's because of white people. Of course, those whites, they're always up to no good. Just I love how, and of course it's MSNBC. They use the token black lady, and she, it can't possibly be because they like him. It can't be that. It can't be because of his policies. It can't be because they feel like they got a raw deal last election. It can't be because of any of that. It has to be because of their whiteness and their privilege, and they're looking at anybody who's not white as a second-class citizen or a fraudulent American, as she put it. Maybe they just like him. Maybe that's it. Maybe Iowa is not only white people. Maybe it's not just white people in Iowa. Maybe there's some black people there. Maybe there's some brown people. Maybe there's some other people other than just white people. And they voted for him too. Maybe they just really like him there. Could you imagine everywhere Trump goes, or every state that Trump ends up winning, that they just chalked it up to, it's those white people. It's white people. It's a problem. Yeah. Like what happens when Joe Biden wins? Is it because of white? Like, let's say that same thing happened with Biden. Would it be because of whiteness? Or would it be because he's the greatest thing since sliced bread? Because, he was around when they made sliced bread. Joking, of course. All right, moving on. That was Tucker Carlson. Now, Vivek directly after this, because notice Tucker didn't even bring him up in that conversation. So Nikki Haley, I believe they said 21 or so. Ron DeSantis was trailing behind. Vivek actually got 7.7. So he was very, very low in comparison to those two, and not even comparable to Trump. So that is very sad. Hoping for him to do a lot better. But he immediately saw the writing on the wall, and then he said this.
Not just to the Democrats, but to our own side, and not just to other campaigns and candidacies, but to ours. And so I will stick to the truth tonight. The first hard truth, and this one's hard for me, I got to admit this, but we've looked at it every which way, and I think it is true that we did not achieve the surprise that we wanted to deliver tonight. And I think that that's just a hard fact that we're going to have to accept as a campaign. And the question then is, what do we do that is right for our country? And so Purv and I, we actually didn't make this contingency plan before everybody told us to. We said, no, we're not doing that. But we talked about it tonight. We took a little bit of time in our apartment in Des Moines before coming here to make some hard choices. And I wanted to make a couple of announcements tonight to get the business out of the way. And then I want to tell you where we're going. As of this moment, we are going to suspend this presidential campaign. And this is going to have to be, there is no path for me to be the next president absent things that we don't want to see happen in this country. And I think that I am very worried for our country. I think we are skating on thin ice as a nation. We have done everything in our part to make, and done, every one of us in this room has done our part to save this country. And I am so proud of every one of you who have lifted us up. But we're a campaign founded on the truth. And so that's why we've made that decision today. And I'm also making the decision that this has to be an America First candidate in that White House. As I've said since the beginning, there are two America First candidates in this race. And earlier tonight, I called Donald Trump to tell him that I congratulated him on his victory. And now going forward, he will have my full endorsement for the presidency. And I think we're going to do the right thing for this country. And so I'm going to ask you to follow me in taking our America First movement to the next level.
Vivek Ramaswamy suspending his campaign.
So that was it. He decided to endorse Trump. And here's the thing. I would say that that is so noble of him, that he handled it with such grace. But then when I show you the clip that I showed you at the beginning, where he's sitting there and he's saying, you know, a vote for Trump, it's a vote for his demise, and you got to vote for me to save Trump. I'm like, well, you kind of showed yourself as a little bit of snakish, to the point where Trump even knew and called it out. So now any grace that you're showing it kind of says to me that you're saving face and that you're kind of hoping for some kind of position within Trump's cabinet. Now, I know he said in the past, I don't want anything. I don't want VP. It's either the president or nothing. That's what he was saying before. When he really, really felt like he had a chance. Now he knows he does not. I think his tune is going to change quite a bit. So let's move on to the next clip. So that was him. And then, again, Trump. Very, very nice. Trump is not like this with people that he competes with, which kind of makes me think, I don't know, I'm not sure what's going on between them. Trump usually just desecrates people that he competes with. Like Chris Christie dropped out and Trump just made a joke about it, barely even focused on it. You know, he's like, you know, when he dropped out, not many people cared about that. No one cared really. Like, it was hilarious. But he goes at people and he stays going at them. He never really lets up. He's never really let up on Hillary or Obama. Definitely not going to let up on Biden. So the fact that he's actually doing what you're about to see right now, I don't know. I don't know what this says to me, but very noble of Trump because, again, Vivek did act pretty deceitful in what he said to that woman. And who knows how many more times he said that. And he did it knowing that he was on camera. That really, I don't know. I don't know about that guy. Plus, I have some friends that are telling me a lot of stuff with him in biotech and being connected to the pandemic and stuff. I just don't know about this guy. But here, him and Trump.
Tremendous ideas. And He's young and he's got some young ideas too, and that's a good thing. So he has a big, beautiful, bright future ahead. Vivek Ramaswamy. Come on up, Vivek.
Let's do this, guys. It's good to see you. It's good to be back to New Hampshire. We miss you guys. We're going to make this happen, and you guys know this well. You know this man. You know why we're here. Patriots across the state. We are in the middle of a war in this country. That's what this is. It's not a war between black and white. It's not between Democrat and Republican, even in a deeper sense. It's between the permanent state and the everyday citizen. Between those of us who love the United States of America and a fringe minority who hates this country and what we stand for. And right now we need a commander-in-chief who will lead us to victory in this war. That's what we need in this country. You got to know you're in a war to win one. You can't win one if you're asleep at the switch, have your head stuck in the sand like most Republicans. And I think that's going to require somebody who isn't bought and paid for, a businessman, not a politician. Anybody heard of that? And that's why I was in this race, but I'll tell you, the people of Iowa spoke loud and clear last night, and I'm a big believer that we, the people, create a government that is accountable to us, not the other way around. That we, the people, choose who leads this country. And so we heard we, the people, last night, and that is why last evening I met my friend here. We met in person, and I told him that I would endorse Donald J. Trump for President of the United States and do everything in my power to lead us to victory in this war. It is a 1776 moment right now. That's where we live right now. And you want to know, what does it mean to be a Republican today? It means we believe in the ideals of 1776. Ideals like freedom and merit and the pursuit of excellence. That you get ahead in this country, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions. End affirmative action. End DEI. We are done with the nonsense. Send it back home. It means you believe in the rule of law. And I say this as the kid of legal immigrants to this country. That means your first act of entering this country cannot break the law, and that is why we need to use our military to secure our own southern border in this country. That's what it means to stand for the rule of law in the United States of America. It means the people we elect to run the government.
So it goes on like this for a little while, but the reason I wanted to show it is because I just can't believe after Vivek was deceitful, Trump calls him out. Trump is still willing to have him on stage with him. Now, is this just so he can pull Vivek's votes? Like, I don't think Trump needs him to that extent. I don't think Vivek has that much pull when it comes to Trump becoming president. I think pretty much he has this in the bag. I think Nikki Haley's not going to stand up to him whatsoever. I think the media is going to position it that way. Like, oh, she has no chance. Ron has no chance. So what does he even need Vivek for? I'm not really sure. Maybe he's just being really nice. But when is he really nice to people who were not only competing with him, but deceitful to him and pretty much attacking him? It was a light attack, but to say you need to vote for me to save Trump, and if he becomes president, it's his demise. To try and put that into Trump voters' minds on camera, I don't know. Very snakish move, in my opinion. So, Trump hints at future role for Vivek, because if you notice in that, right before Vivek took the stage, Trump said he had a big future ahead of him. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's just politician talk. Maybe it was just a nice thing to say before he brought him on stage. I'm not really sure. But then, I just wanted to fast forward a little bit. Towards the end, this happens.
God bless you and your families, and may God bless our United States of America. Thank you, New Hampshire. It's good to see you guys. We're coming back and winning this in a landslide. We will not stop until we get this job done.
Thank you all. God bless you and your family. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, how was that? Pretty good, right? That was pretty good. And he's a fantastic guy. And he's really, he's got something that's very special because he started off with a Zippo and he ended up very strong. He did a great.
So, Trump's giving him a little more praise there. Just seems interesting, Is he hinting at the fact that he has a big future? Is that a VP type of thing? I don't know. And I don't know why you would want somebody who kind of did that to you behind your back as your VP. I've been for a while. I've been saying either RFK Jr. as VP or Vivek. But now, after seeing what Vivek did, I'm like, oh, well, then put RFK Jr. there. But then RFK Jr. says so many questionable things about Trump. He has not positioned himself well in front of world leaders, calling Putin a thug, calling Xi Jinping all sorts of names, and he's just not setting up for good relations, right? So I really don't know, but who else could it be? I have no idea who else it could be, unless you go into the Tucker, mindset, but, I don't know that that's going to happen. Tucker is like going so hard on his network right now. It really doesn't seem like it's ever going to be Tucker. He didn't say no, but he didn't say yes, and he's doing so much on the content side of things for all that to just stop after he's had investors put upwards of $20 million into the Tucker Carlson network. I don't see him just stopping like that. Maybe, but again, even with everything that Trump just showed us, he said, don't get duped. Don't get duped. If that's what he's putting into the voters' minds, if that's what he's putting into society's minds, obviously, that's what he has in his mind as well. I don't know. Now we got Kaylee McNanny. McNanian. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. This is her take on Trump choosing a VP, choosing Vivek as a VP. Let's go.
In case you couldn't understand that, they're screaming Veep for Vivek Ramaswamy, and President Trump sort of teasing that as well, saying that he will be around for a long time. Chances of him being vice president, what do you think?
I think slim to none. First, Jason Miller was asked about this. He advised President Trump, and he said no to Vivek. However, that was before Vivek dropped out. I think when you're looking at a vice presidential candidate, you don't want a carbon copy of the nominee. And in many ways, Vivek and Trump, they pick up the same base of voters. It's the MAGA voters, the conservative voters. You want someone who's going to add to your ticket. And particularly, I think we're at a moment in time similar to 1980, where Reagan chose George H.W. Bush to unify the Republican Party. Trump needs every single Republican vote. So choosing someone who is just like him, I think, is a fool's errand.
Can Trump do that and still keep everybody in the fold?
That is the big question. I think he can. I maintain that Trump has such a lock on the Trump base. In fact, I think history will look back on this and say it is perhaps one of the strongest movements in modern American history. I don't think they leave Trump under any circumstance unless he betrays his principles. But I think picking up a VP that Trump says, look, we need to win suburban women. We need to win independent voters. We've got to unify the party. I think that's something the base will understand.
Wow. You wonder a week from today.
With what she just said, I'm not understanding what she means. She says suburban women. Who is she talking? Is she talking about Nikki Haley? Because I think she's way off if she's talking about Nikki Haley. Trump just posted a picture of Nikki Haley's face on Hillary Clinton's body. I don't think that's the route he's going to go. That just wouldn't make any sense to me, especially with the things that she wants to do. His base already doesn't like her. And again, his base won't all of a sudden walk away from him if that's what he does. But it just seems like one of those things that he is not going to want to do. He's already had a term as president where he had the wrong people around him. He knows what happens if he has the wrong people around him. He knows what that leads to. He knows what that feels like. Why on earth, looking at Nikki, who is definitely the Trojan horse, 100% is the Trojan horse, especially now that Vivek's gone, because people were saying it's him. He's gone now from the race. DeSantis is still there. Nikki's still there. I think it's Nikki, especially with the way that the media is pushing her. They're pushing her on a different level than they pushed DeSantis. They're really, really pushing her forward. And especially because there's a video of her just flip-flopping on a bunch of things. I'm going to get into that in another episode because, we're already at like 25 minutes here. But it's just, I just don't see it being her. Vivek, I think, would be great. Yeah, he's a carbon copy of Trump, but he also has some very young ideas. And when you are picking a vice president, as Trump right now, his last pick was Mike Pence. Terrible. Even back then, I was like, terrible idea. You don't want to do that again. You don't want to just march in some faceless drone agent looking person into your VP slot again, especially the fact that he'll turn on you at the end of the day. So you don't want to do that. It's not going to be DeSantis with everything that they've gone on back and forth with. So I see it being Vivek. Now, when they were talking about unifying the Republicans, a way to unify everybody would be for him to take RFK Jr. But I don't know if that's going to happen. RFK Jr. seems like he doesn't want that. He seems like he doesn't want to be under Trump. I don't know. Seems like it's going to be Vivek. I'm really unsure. He showed himself to be deceitful. I'd love to know what you guys think about this whole thing, but I've liked Vivek for a long time, but even now just hearing him, here's the thing. Seeing him be deceitful, to be a little snakish on camera, and then hearing how he's talking about Trump afterwards, I'm like, you know what it reads like to me? Like The Rock. You ever watch The Rock? He gets on Instagram and he's talking, or when he was sitting with Joe Rogan, he just seems fake. Like The Rock seems like a fake person. And after Vivek showing that side of him, and then showing the says everything correctly, polished side of him, I'm just like, this guy's like The Rock. He's just saying, he just knows what to say. He just knows what to say, but he's not really feeling any of it. So that's where I'm at with it. I can't see it being anyone other than Vivek, but also he just showed himself to be pretty snakish when he needed to be. When the chips felt like they were down, he got a little snakish. I don't know why. And again, I say snakish, but at the same time, if he feels that way, he feels that way. If he felt like, vote for Trump is vote for his demise, maybe he really feels that way. Maybe he really thinks that something is going to happen to Trump if he's elected. I mean, Tucker Carlson has talked about, why wouldn't they assassinate him? Tucker Carlson's brought it up on 3 different occasions over the past 4 months about Trump possibly getting assassinated. He's brought that up on many different publications. He's even asked Trump to his face about it, So it is a possibility, of course. It's a possibility for anyone who steps into any type of political office. You don't even have to be the president for something like that to happen to you. But I don't know. It's worth it when America is in the balance, when freedom and democracy are in the balance. It's worth it. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think he's going to be vice president, if he's a snake. You didn't trust him all along. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And other than that, I am out. Like, subscribe, share.